Welcome back to our series of videos on Kinetic Request. Once again, I'm Derick Larson from Support and Training, and in this video, we're going to talk about models and bridges. So in the previous video, we set up a data store for sites, and here we can see I've added a couple more records and a few more fields to it, and so we have it kind of set up how we want so that we can reference the data. With a model or bridge, we're going to show you how to set up that connection that can be made between this form and the form where we're going to be showing the data, the cleaning request form. So let's go in firstly to the configure form section here. Now we mentioned before in the previous video about the section at the bottom that can be used for bridges, the bridge configuration. So there's essentially four parts to a bridge or a model. The first one is the bridge it's going to use, and for all our kinetic request pieces, we just have the one kinetic core bridge that we use. It has set up specifically to talk back and forth to our kinetic application using REST API. And so here we can see two of the other parts that are here, the qualifications and the attributes. We'll start talking about attributes first. So attributes really refer to all of the fields or all of the individual groups of data in wherever we're getting our information from and how we can easily reference that for our cleaning request form. So this is one of the reasons why I like to use the bundle to set this up, because I can just say here, generate all of my attributes, all of the fields from my sites form for my bridge. So I'm just going to click right on the button over here. And here you can see, it's a little easier to see once they're all on here, that here are all of the fields that I have added for my data store form, a name, an ID, a contact name, and a contact email. And this is the attribute piece that's going to be used by the bridge to reference those. So this is how we'll bring them back. If you remember from our display and required section for the previous set of videos, here's that's values and the name of the field. This is how within the kinetic request in the form builder in those qualifications that we use, this is how we referenced the fields on our forms. We do the same thing here. And this is just a really nice way to have it do all of them all at once for us without having to type those in and probably make a mistake. So I'm going to save the changes here. Now, for me, it's easier to do the other two pieces for a bridge or a model, the qualifications and the testing, within the application consoles themselves. So let's move over there and see what we've got. So I'm going back into, here's my data store forms. So here's my sites form. And now you can see that I've got, for models, here's my sites model based on a data store. If I open that up, I can see once again my different portions that are here. Under attributes, it's pulled in all of those pieces that we did through the bundle previously, but for qualifications and for testing, I really don't have anything set up yet. So qualifications is what we want to do next. Now, a qualification is how we get the bridge to talk to and return back the results from our data store. So for example, if we wanted to do one that said, let's get everything with a status of active. So what we'll need to do here, we need to give it a name. We need to find out what kind of result type it's going to come back, either one single result or multiple results. In our case, we want multiple. And then we build up the query. So the query is somewhat complex. So I'm going to do what all good folks do when faced with a complex piece. I'm going to go steal a model query from somebody else. So I'm going to go into an existing assets one that I have here, go into qualifications, by status active, and just copy this guy over. So I'm going to go back to my sites and go back into qualifications. So we'll say here this is going to be status active. We want to get multiple results, and here's my query. So I need to make a couple changes, of course, since I stole this from somewhere else. My form slug is not assets, it's sites. My limit is, we can still have a limit of 1,000. That's the max we can return. But I've conveniently structured my fields on both the assets and the sites to be called status. So here you can see I'm using the index or the search basis for values of status. And then I want everywhere where my value of status is equal to active. Now this is also spelled out very specifically in the article. So if we're going by fairly quickly here, don't worry, you can see it in the article itself. And I want to add this one on. And now I've got a basic query where I can bring back everybody that's active. If you remember from the beginning of the video, there should be 3 results that are there that are active. And this is where I can come into the last section that we've got, which is test. So here with test, you can pick out which attributes you want to display. So let's do the site name and the contact name. And then I can select a qualification to use. Let's do with the only one we have, the status active. And now I can test the model. And here I can see I got 3 results back with their site name and contact name. This is really, really valuable, especially if you're accessing a system that's not local into Kinetic Request. Say it's your LDAP system or Salesforce, something like that. You can have immediate results based upon your qualifications, even if you have parameters to test with them, and see if things are working right from here without having to do everything in your form first and then having to go back and troubleshoot quite a few things instead of just the one, probably an issue with your qualification. So that's it for models and bridges for this video, and I hope to see you in the next video. We're going to take the next step, which is to create a bridged resource, which is the link between this model and the form where we're going to be displaying information to our customers.